All right, guys, we are live. This is the Shillan and Duffy Show recap of UFC Vegas 116, Sterling versus Zalal, Zalal versus Sterling. This is brought to you by Sherdog.com. I am your host. My name is Keith Shillan. I'm usually joined by the senior editor of Sherdog.com, the great Ben Duffy. He is traveling this week, so stepping up to the plate is a writer for Sherdog.com, the great, the knowledgeable Dayne Fox. Dayne, how you doing, my man?
Doing well. Always happy to be here. I know that I am definitely the B side to your A side, but
Okay,
hey,
all
man,
right.
there's got to be two sides to a record.
I appreciate that respect. All right. Let's get right into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We have 13 fights to get to. In the main event, a fight that I was really excited about. I think there was some exciting moments. I don't know if it lived up to the hype that I thought it would, but former bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling took on Youssef Zalal, Sterling winning a unanimous decision. Dane, who did you pick to win this fight beforehand?
I picked Zalal.
Yeah, so did I. So I had a pretty good night overall. I went 8-5, which numbers wise doesn't sound that good, but I hit 4 upset picks on this card. So I'm gonna call this a good night. But this was probably maybe my worst call of the night, or one of my worst calls. It really came down to the pressure. Whoever, and I know I sound like a broken record. I'm constantly talking about pressure. I really believe pressure and is like the number one skill in MMA. I always think about when I was like training this girl in MMA and I was holding pads for her, and I would like tell her like, come on, pressure me. And when she pressured me, like how hard it was just holding pads for her, like just backing up and holding pads, and how uncomfortable I was doing that. And that's what it came down to. When Zalal was moving forward, he had a lot of success. He hurt Sterling multiple times. But when Sterling was moving forward, he had more success, and Sterling was moving a lot more. And then Sterling, not even his takedowns, but just his takedown attempts to closing the distance, get into the close quarters, get into the clinch, get on the hips. Just that alone to me was the ultimate equalizer. Like Zalal really didn't have any answer for that. He kept going like 2 or 3 times. He went for a switch, and I'm like, dude, one switches like never work in high level. High level, it's so rare. But you're not going to switch Aljamain Sterling. You had to be pushing down his head, lifting his arm up, doing something other than going for a switch. And then when Sterling takes you down, the round's over. He's going to get 3 takedowns. He gets 3 takedowns, the round's over. Talk to me about this.
I really can't disagree too much with you. I mean, I thought the first 3 rounds were pretty fun. Even though Sterling took the first 2 rounds, Zalal was remaining competitive. And then Zalal took the 3rd round, and it's like, all right, it looks like we're going to get a fight. And then in the championship rounds, Sterling, everything was downhill for Zalal from there. Sterling just completely dominated the 4th round. I think it was unanimous that the judges gave him a 10-8 there. And then in the 5th, I think Zalal's spirit was just kind of broken, and he was tired. You know, he admitted himself that he was tired because he hadn't been in a 5-round fight before. And I think Sterling just kind of went on cruise control at that point. But yeah, as far as the strategy itself, you know, I think that you hit the nail on the head. Just whoever was pressuring seemed to be having the most success. And one of the things that I think is kind of funny, you know, Sterling's the one who's known as the Funk Master, but it was basically just fundamentals that he was doing. There really wasn't too much funk to his game. I mean, some of the takedowns that he uses caught Zalal by surprise, but you know, they were basic wrestling trips and stuff like that. It wasn't anything that a wrestler isn't aware of how to do. You know, it was very basic stuff that Sterling utilized, but it was enough to give him a clear W.
Yeah, it was. I had it 2 rounds, one after the 3rd round, and you know, and Yusuf, like I was sitting there like, wow, Yusuf looks great. He almost submitted Aljamain Sterling. He just rode him out he rode him out for about 4 minutes, back control, and I'm like, oh man, like, is he got to take over now? And is he, you know, are we gonna have this exciting moment? We're gonna wait and coming down to the 5th round, and it's gonna be exciting, and I think obviously Zalal completely gassed out after the 3rd round. when Sterling can't. And I think it's a little bit of he was tired, but also Sterling. I think Sterling mentally broke him a little bit. Like you just had your best round, you're feeling a little tired, and Sterling's right in your face. Like, yeah, you might have just beat me up for this round, and I know he didn't do a lot of damage, but like you just held me down, you almost submitted me, you did all this, and now I'm in your face. I'm coming forward. Like you can't stop me. That was nothing. I don't care if I lost that round. I don't want to say it mentally broke the guy, but his demeanor changed pretty damn quick. You know, it was just he's on the gas, he's kicking it, and then he's taking you down. So I think some of that has to do with inexperience. I also think the best moment he had in the fight was when he almost caught him in the guillotine. That actually might be what gassed him out. Like his peak moment might have been the worst thing that happened to him. So when we think, and I think this goes with Aljamain Sterling career overall, but when I think of greatest grapplers in MMA, I always when I say grapplers, I kind of leave out the wrestlers because I almost put them in two different categories.
I'm with you.
You know, it's like a little different. Like if you say grappling to me, I'm thinking Charles Oliveira. I'm thinking
same here.
Fabricio Verdum. I'm thinking guys like, Big Nog in his prime. I never think Aljamain Sterling. And I know he's a little bit of like a hybrid in between, like a little bit of a college wrestling style, but also a more of a jiu-jitsu grappling style. He should be in that category. Like his grappling is dynamic, and it's a shame that for really his whole career he doesn't get enough credit. Talk to me about it.
Oh, go. In general, I agree with you. Usually, I would say Sterling tends to be overlooked. You know, he's he's tied for the record for most consecutive bantamweight defenses. He pointed out that basically since the beginning of his UFC run, he's been facing top competition. Because at the end of the show, he pointed out only 3 of his opponents have not had a number next to them since he came into the UFC. That's pretty damn impressive because that was his like 24th fight, I think, something like that. Regardless, it's 20 plus something fights. I think the fight that really solidified it in my mind that Sterling is one of the world-class grapplers, and I will admit I kind of forgot about it just because he hasn't been fighting with great frequency as of late, was his contest with Evloev. That was one of the funnest scramble sessions. Yeah. I mean, you whenever you think of like all-time great fights, it's usually the slugfest, but if there's one was basically just a grappling match, that's the one that always comes to my mind at this point. And, I mean, Evloev barely edged him out, but that was a neck and neck fight, and Sterling more than held his own with regards to that. But yeah, Sterling, you're right in the sense that he's a little bit of a hybrid with regards to wrestling and grappling. But given his submission prowess, I tend to think of him more as a grappler. Who was it? Oh God, was it Takeya Mizugaki that he got that? Give me a second.
When he got the was it the Suluev stretch you're talking about?
No. It wasn't the Suluev stretch. He was like on the bottom. Oh God, man, it was so long ago at this point. That was over a decade ago. Which, again, the fact that
what submission was it?
Trying to look it up.
You got an arm triangle choke. He got Mizugaki with the arm triangle.
Yes, and I think he was from the bottom though, wasn't he?
I did. You're talking about 2015.
Yeah. That's another one of those just crazy ass moments. But yeah, no, Aljo's I think overall one of the more underrated fighters within the annals of UFC history.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned about his like bantamweight run and that he's tied for the most consecutive title defenses. Yeah, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, when we think about, we go over the division, there's certain divisions we don't even debate who's the greatest. Like no one debates who's the greatest light heavyweight. It's John Jones, and who's the greatest flyweight ever. It's Demetrius Johnson. But bantamweight is one of the ones that does get debated, and the two names that always get brought up is Dominic Cruz and Merab.
Yeah.
And it's funny that Sterling doesn't get even brought up. Now, I'm not saying he is the greatest, but he should at least get brought up. Like he should at least be in the conversation.
100%.
If you want those other two guys to be the candidates, he's got to be a Ross Perot. Like he might be a third party candidate, but he's he's a legit third party candidate. We treat him like he's like, the new Whigs party candidate, and you're like, what? The Whigs party's still around? Like he's got an argument. Now I know the thing that always seems to have carried on his career, even though he's won so many good fights since then, is the Pierian, the first win, winning by disqualification, the way he won the title. But that thing like overshadows this unbelievable MMA career when he's all said and done. And I know it's hard, and I'm not writing it down on a paper and counting guys, but he's got to be in like the top 30, top 35 greatest fighters. If I sat there, I had to write it down, and I definitely think there's a little more weight to nowadays. Winning fights nowadays is a lot tougher than Frank Shamrock days, and definitely, you want to go back even further to like the Hoist Gracie beating janitors and taxi drivers. He's never the most exciting, but he always has a great game plan. He knows what's the best avenue of victory, and he gets to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this question. We like to do matchmaking. Well, matchmaking. Obviously, Alex Volkanovski, another guy. If we talk about all-time great list, I think he's top 10, if not even higher. But the first phone call, well, we agree. Let's play the phone call game. Volkanovski says he wants to fight. Say he says he wants to fight June. What does it say? June. Oh, say July. Late July. He wants to fight late July. You're setting up a numbered pay-per-view card. You're like, all right, we got Volkanovski, and it's Volk. He's like, I'll fight whoever. I'm not going to negotiate. Just give me whoever. We both agree. Evloev's the first call.
100%.
Okay. All right. So we're in that. Is Aljo the second call? Is this somebody or is this somebody else? Is it Gene Silva? Is it?
I say Aljo.
I think so too, man. I know Gene Silva's more fun. He's a wild character. Aljo's never got over with the fans. He's never been a popular guy. But his age, the opportunity you have, the window of opportunity, and then you have two, all-time greats. And I know, again, we can debate Sterling's all-time great run, but Volk and Aljamain going against each other, still, both past their primes, but still extremely high level. One would be the champion, one would be one of the top contenders. And also, there was talk to these guys because they were the champions at the same time. When Aljo was the champion of his division, so was Volkanovski. And I think the dynamic changed depending on who wins. If Mosera wins, obviously there's a really, really fun fight with Aljamain Sterling. But you could also go Gene Silva to fight. And I might go Gene Silva because if Volk doesn't retire, I might do a Aljo Volk matchup anyways, even if he's not the champion.
Yeah.
So it's a fun kind of legacy fight. So all right, so let's do this. Who are you matching Sterling with?
So with regards to that, you just mentioned that perhaps the UFC is trying to get Volk back in the cage relatively quick. The question I have is how long are we waiting? If we're waiting a while, then yes, definitely I'll get Sterling another contest. If it's something that's happening in June or July, it's like, no. I wait and I want Sterling to face the winner, or maybe even Silva, just something along those lines. But right now, I would probably line Sterling up with Yair.
Yeah, and when you look at the numbered pay-per-views, I'm sorry, I know I keep saying pay-per-views. I know they're not pay-per-views anymore, but the numbered cards, and you start looking at the UFC schedule and everything, and obviously the White House card is the big one in June, and July. Right. I mean, so it's in June. It's the obviously May is the Shemaya fight, and then June is the White House card.
White House card. Mm-hmm.
So now you got to look to July, which is International Fight Week, and I mean I've heard the rumors of Conor being on it. Whatever, I'm ignoring those. But you're in Las Vegas. There's no main event. Like it doesn't seem to me like they would want Volk on International Fight Weekend. I mean, it makes sense. It's international, but they like to put him in Australia in that area. So yep. I think they probably go a different route in July. So now we're looking at what, August, unless they do, unless they do. I'm not sure. Are they doing two? Sometimes they'll have two in 1 month.
Well, technically, they're not doing a numbered event in June, but that's being replaced by the White House card. So yeah.
Yeah. So the next one after that would be August, Philly, August in Philly. So
I think Volk fits the Philly mantra.
So say you have Vulcan and Evloev fight in Philly. We'll just say I don't want to go too far out. So we're talking about August. August is 4 months from now.
Yeah, it is.
You figure it's at best another 4 months after that. So now you're looking December, maybe January. Do you want to put this guy on the shelf for 9 months to wait for a title shot? I think I'm making him fight again, even though.
No, I agree.
So I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna do like that number one title, number one contender matchup. I'm gonna go with Gene Silva. I'm gonna put him and Gene Silva, put it on a fight night. I'm gonna make it the fight night main event. Because who Gene Silva is, I don't want it to be an expect card. I want to be in an arena. I want him walking down freaking.
Oh hell yeah!
In like freaking Milwaukee or something. Wherever you want to put it. You want. That's what I would do.
So I think you know that I tend to try to keep a list, and so I try not to double up on who is fighting who. And I have no problem with Silva fighting Aljo. I think that's fun, but I've actually got Silva lined up with Lerone Murphy.
Okay.
And that's why I've got Yair lined up with Aljamain.
So one thing I do is I don't like when I say who I'm matchmaking this week, next week it completely changes. Like it doesn't carry on to the next week.
No, I understand that. I know that. I know.
Everything's fresh. Everything's fresh for me. Like a week from now, I could be saying Gene Silva versus, whoever.
No, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun that way. But I've got like a little bit of an OCD brain, and I'm like, no, if I said that 2 weeks ago, then damn it, I've got to be willing to make it.
I can't keep track of who I said, and I can't. Sometimes I'll say somebody who's already booked. So, and I try not to do that, but sometimes I don't check. I actually had Zalal going against Lerone Murphy. And I'd probably still do like a fight night main event. Like I still think they're main event. I think both of them lost. I mean, you can make a strong argument that Murphy won, but
I thought Murphy did win.
Yeah, and I can't remember who I scored. I think I scored it for Murphy too, but it was very, very close. I don't think Zalal had a bad performance. He lost, and he lost convincingly, but I think there was some moments you were like, "Damn, that was pretty good."
Yep,
out of him. So I still view him as like a main event guy.
Yeah, no, he could definitely still headline a fight night card. Where you said you did Murphy for him.
Yeah,
I've got the loser of Steve Garcia and Diego Lopez.
Yeah, see, I want to do Lopez versus Yair. I mean, they have that bad blood. Like, why are we not getting that? I know it's Yair. Like Yair's never fights. It seems like. I mean, Garcia loses, I get it. If Garcia loses, I think that makes a lot of sense. If Lopez, I don't know. Let me ask you this. Let's go my route. Me and Ben, we never make predictions, or if we do make predictions, it's very extremely rare. We might say who you think will be favored. Something. I'll put you on the spot, and this is not like don't come back. Dayne can change his pick, 3 months from now. But right
obviously,
now, gun to head, Aljo versus Gene Silva. Who are you taking?
That's hard to say. Probably Silva. which
I don't know.
beats, which I know it's really hard to say, but I just Silva's so damn explosive, but at the same time, I could easily see Sterling outwitting him just because if there's anybody who is the sage-wise veteran that's going to outfox somebody, it's going to be Sterling at this point.
Yeah, if Evloev gets hurt, it would not be shocking, and he doesn't fight Volk and Volk versus Aljo. I'll say this. Yeah, Evloev, like I was super excited the other day, when Evloev fought a couple weeks ago, thinking about a Volkanovski versus Evloev, how fun it would be to break them down, the mind of Volk and everything he does versus just that incredible style of Evloev. I feel the same exact way if you replace Evloev with Sterling. To see how Volkanovski reacts to the long arms, we've seen Volk against a similar style guy in Makhachev, but not being overpowered muscle wise by that guy. It'd be really intriguing to see.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. The co-main event. I think might have been my best call tonight. Norma Dumont took on Jocelyn Edwards. I took Jocelyn Edwards, one of my 4 upset picks. Edwards, it's simply when she opened up and let her hands go, she won pretty easily.
Yeah.
She was very cautious early, but when she started to open up, it was I don't want to say a mismatch, but she had her way pretty easily.
I think Dumont won a greater volume of the fight, but when Edwards had her moments, they were just bigger moments. Like Dumont did what she always did. She just barely was staying above water in terms of the volume. Well, not the volume, but just the pace of the match. There we go. The pace, the tempo, all that fun stuff, kind of doing her thing. But when Edwards, like you said, when she let it go, they were the harder strikes, and they were the more memorable strikes and did more damage. I think my favorite part of the fight, because there weren't a lot of memorable moments, if we're being honest, but my favorite part was when the decision was announced and Dumont just had this absolute look of shock. It's like you were playing tit for tat. I mean, there's absolutely no way that you can be shocked that went against you.
Yeah, and it's been a bunch of fights recently where she's done this, like she's like turning into the Brazilian Caitlin Chikagian. Where
that's a good way to put
action, it. Is she at the same range as Caitlin Chikagian? No, she might be one or two steps closer. And I mean, Caitlin Chikagian is like a tennis court away from her opponent. But yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, Norma Dumont is so boring. I mean, like, if she wasn't an absolute smoke show, would we care about her?
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's a reason why, male MMA, generally speaking, are excited to see her. But she did the same thing against Ketlin Vera in the last fight. I thought she lost to Vera.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad today that she did lose to Jocelyn Edwards. I want to go back a comment. I apologize. Who was it? Somebody. Oh, SOS Rampage 3 ZZ. Oh, SOS _Rampage 3 ZZ. Mentioned Edwards' ground game has made big improvements over the years. And that's right, man. I said it on the previous show that you're watching someone get better and better each fight, and I feel the same way again. Like, I think she's leveled up a little bit again.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
She's not like hitting a warp zone up, but it's like, it's not. You know what it is? You're old enough to get this reference. It's not Mario getting the raccoon tail flying over the buildings rise. It's Mario climbing the ladder while Donkey Kong's throwing barrels at him. Yeah. It's not super fast, but she continues to, she might hit a barrel every once in a while. I have to go to the bottom, but every time I watch Edwards, I'm like, there ain't many people in the division I might be taking over her right now.
No.
Obviously, Kayla Harrison. If Kayla Harrison is, and I really do believe this is a big if Kayla Harrison is the same fighter she was when she last left. I mean, you give neck surgery at her age. Neck surgery at any age is serious, but at her age, obviously, I'm a big concern. All other big concern is Amanda Nunes. If Amanda Nunes is close to the same person that left, I'm taking Amanda Nunes. Like those two are pretty obvious. I'm sure there's one or two other people in the division I'm not thinking off the top of my head. But I feel like Jocelyn Edwards is if you're a fighter in that division, it's not a fight I want to sign up for. It's a lot of risk without the name reward.
Yeah. She's I believe that it was last year she made Sherdog's All Violence team. But that hasn't translated to her being a name by any means whatsoever. A lot of that has to do with the fact of who she has been beating. I think her best win coming into this contest was Nora Cornell.
Yeah.
Arguably, she just hasn't beaten anybody worth mentioning until tonight. But even then, you're not going to get a hell of a lot off of beating Dumont because Dumont is arguably the most boring fighter on the roster. So,
but the thing is, she's on a 5-fight winning streak. 4 of them were stoppages. Yeah,
I agree.
The knock on women's MMA has always been, not enough stoppages. She's got 4 of them in a row, and even tonight's fight was close simply because I think Jocelyn Edwards gave her too much respect. The only offense or the best moment of the fight for Norma Dumont was when Jocelyn Edwards pulled her on top of herself. She made still had that little bit of Jocelyn Edwards in her where she, I don't know what the hell she was doing, but I had a hard time matchmaking Jocelyn Edwards because, of course, I'm not giving her a title shot.
No.
Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes are fighting next, and if Amanda wins, like, I don't know if she sticks around. I think it's a one and done. I'm coming out of retirement just to face Kayla Harrison. Moment. Kayla, I wouldn't be shocked if Kayla retires. Like, what else does she have to do? 2 Olympic gold medals, UFC title, beats. Yeah, I know she has 2 kids, and she's got a family. She's busy,
dude. And that weight cut is brutal for her.
And the weight cut's brutal for her. That's another good point. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to matchmake, and I'm like, who? I don't know if this woman is still around. I haven't heard her name in forever. I think she might be injured. I'm going to give her a former champion, Raquel Pennington.
I thought about Rocky.
Again, I don't know what's going on with her. This is not an insider thing. Like, I'm assuming she's hurt somewhere. Or...
She was scheduled for a fight, I want to say early fall last year, and then she had to pull out with injury, and I haven't heard anything since. So I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
And I pretty significant. Yeah. And I thought about Rocky, but I actually decided to go with Juliana Pena. Kind of in a similar stance as Rocky.
Yeah, similar.
Former champion. Been around forever.
I thought about Juliana Pena because she was in that same range with one of the ones I was going to. My thing is, like, Juliana Pena's going to talk, and, like, Justin Edwards not a talker. Like, so I'd rather put her with the Raquel Pennington, like, put it as like a Apex co-main event.
Well, yeah, but if Edwards shuts up Pena, then who knows? She might actually develop some fans.
Well, what are we doing with Dumont? I'm just gonna put Dumont. She was supposed to go against Yana Santos on this card. I'm just gonna make that fight. I'll put her and Yana put it as the Apex like main card fight.
I had the exact same thing.
What's going on? Is she just pulled up for injury, or like she's not like pregnant or anything like that, right?
I haven't heard anything about pregnancy, but
okay. I just saying that because I know she's married, and and don't be quote me. I'm literally asking a question, and I have no idea.
Totally understand, man. I think it's fair because she's taken a pregnancy break before, and all the more respect to the women within MMA that put their career on pause to go become moms. That's awesome. I have nothing
and
negative to say there.
Yeah, and you're really 1 or 2 wins away from being right back into the title contention in that division.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, you can win 1 fight and you get in title challenge.
Yeah, there's just not a there's a clear level at the top, and then there's just everybody else, and everybody else just once they get momentum going, they seem to lose. You know, like it seemed like Irina Aldana at one point could have broken through, and then she ends up going on a losing streak. Macy Chiasson, she could have broken through, goes on a losing streak. Just nobody's ever able to get there.
That's because nobody's good. Like, nobody's good in the division. I mean, we're talking about Jocelyn Edwards. It's still Jocelyn Edwards, and you know, she don't look spectacular. Before that, Alexander Hernandez took on Rafa Garcia, 2 fighters who were on streaks heading in, like surprisingly streaks, and Garcia won by unanimous decision. Before we get to it, the Garcia looked like super jacked tonight. Like better than he ever did. Like he's got on some like Paulo Costa special sauce type. Like he put on like 10 pounds of muscle.
No, he definitely does.
Obviously, yeah, he was never in bad shape or anything like that. But the dude looked like a little like end of career Vito going on.
Yeah, no, there was definitely a lot more definition to him than I previously remember. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. He went from looking like Rick Steiner to looking like Scott Steiner. But I don't know how many people get that reference. As far as the fight went, this is another upset pick that I Garcia, I mean, he was pressuring and he was countering. He was countering. He was kind of drawing out Hernandez's attacks. Hernandez kept jabbing. He was really slipping the jab and throwing a little short right hand over the top a lot. Sometimes he'd catch him with a check left hook coming in. And it was killing Hernandez. Like Hernandez, you could see him like be frustrated, especially the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. No, and I think that Hernandez completely expected pressure coming from Hoffa because that's usually what he does. And you could tell that it was kind of throwing Hernandez off. Like he had a nice streak of like 3 or 4 wins in a row coming into this contest. Looked like he was performing at the best level that he ever had. And he didn't look right in this fight. I think he was just completely flustered by Garcia taking a different approach. But usually when you hear somebody's taking a different approach, it's usually to bad effect. Garcia looked fucking awesome this time. You know, like he did exactly what he wanted to do, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, and Hernandez did not look comfortable the entire fight. Like there was no moment he seemed comfortable. And it's funny because you mentioned about Garcia pressuring. He pressured. He was moving forward. He was taking the ground. It was like it was like a battlefield. I always think of it that sense. But it wasn't a blitz. Like he's fought at higher pressure than this. He had higher output. It was very controlled, very accurate. He looked good. And then he was just mixing in takedowns, which he wasn't very effective with it, but it was just enough to kind of mess up the rhythm of Hernandez. So when Hernandez would start to open up, then Garcia's jumping on his legs, and it's like you got to reset. Like I think about it's like a baseball player. Like you have to get back in the box, got to dig your foot in, you got to check your get your bat up, you got to wiggle around, you got to lower your stance, you got to do all the stuff that you do in your or a golfer walking back up to the tee and I kind of feel like that's what's happened with Hernandez when Garcia just looked to wrestle. It just didn't let Hernandez get comfortable. That said, I mean, he's on a nice winning streak. This is not a guy that got a lot of hype coming into the UFC. He was kind of always looked at as like a mid-card journeyman type guy. Are you believing in Garcia? Take that. And if you are, give me how far you believe.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What's believing in Garcia? Do I think he could break into UFC rankings? I think he could potentially do that. But do I see him becoming like a perennial top 10 fighter? No. I'm not going to say that he's going to go that high or anything like that. But yeah, I would say break into the rankings. He probably flits in and out for a couple of years. But that's not a bad fate.
No, if he turns into a top 15 guy in the division, that's way more than you expected from Garcia. And I kind of do believe. I think are you a football guy by any chance? You're not like a stick and ball sports kind of guy.
Depends. Are we talking 10 years ago?
Okay, fair. We're just talking right now. The NFL draft is like it ended today. It was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it's like when I think like Mel Kiper or Todd McShay or one of these,
the draft guys. Yeah.
So when I ask like, do you like Garcia, and they're like, oh, there's a guy I really like. A guy I like, and they're talking about like a guy in the 5th round is getting drafted 5th round. Is like, well, there's a different standard. And then Mel Kiper's like, well, I'm not as high as other people are on some guy. And they're talking about the guy who's getting picked in like 15th overall. The DN getting picked 15th overall, and then later on, Mel Kiper is going. I'm not into this. Penn State guy. And then, in the 5th round, is like, oh, this Texas Tech kid. DN. Oh, I'm really high. I think he's slipping. I think he's a steal. It's like, well, he's not saying he likes that, 35th ranked DN over the 15th ranked DN. It's just where they are. So it's like when I ask Garcia, like, he's my 5th round guy. You know what I mean? He's the guy like if you're a coach and you're running a gym and your athlete is like got to fight, you don't want Garcia. He doesn't have the name, but you get the Garcia, you're like, man, it's a tough out. Like it's a tough out.
No, that's you're looking. You're looking at the measurables between Hoffa Garcia and Tom Nolan. You're like, I'm taking Nolan all day. But right now, would I take Hoffa Garcia or Tom Nolan? That's a tough fight to pick.
It's a tough out. He's a tough out, man. And I'm glad he's doing well. So before that, one of the Shillan Duffy's all-time favorite fighters, Davy Grant, took on Adrian Luna Martinetti. Davy Grant winning by unanimous decision. Pope going. I get that.
I thought that was good too. I thought that was good.
A lot of people are going to get that reference, but nice job, Tom Nolan. Goes Drew Aller. Nice job. Right now, like 90% of our as a college, somewhat college football fan, but more of a Penn State. I would say I tend to be Penn State. I'm a Penn State wrestling fan, big time, and my son's wrestling team once a year will travel out to Penn State and go to football games. So I became a Penn State football fan because of it. Very casual Penn State football fan, but that was a great Bob. That was a great reference. Nice job. Talking about our injured quarterback who just got drafted. But Davy Grant took on Adrian Luna Martinetti. This fight was exactly what we expected. A fun, high-paced, classic Davy Grant fight, classic Martinetti fight. Martinetti on the gas. And the thing it came down to, Grant was just landing cleaner. And Martinetti, he was throwing a lot. He wasn't landing a lot.
Exactly. Yeah. I know that the broadcast team is generally given, okay, this is the guy that we're kind of promoting here, and I have no doubt that that's what was the thing with Martinetti because of his brawl with is it Vologden? I think it was Vologden that he fought in Contender Series. But anyway, they wanted to hype him up. He was getting all of the hype from the commentator team, and they're just talking about his volume. And I'm like, guys, he's either missing or he's getting it swatted away. I don't know how many times I saw Grant swat away his kick or whatever the hell it was. And so you heard a smack,
sure,
but it wasn't connecting. And I think that was one of the things that the commentary team was missing.
Yeah, I think I felt the same way a lot with the Montel Jackson fight. Like, yeah, he landed, but every time he threw some big shots, like a lot of them were deflecting shots, and the commentator team made it seem like he just freaking, Mirko Krokop kicked him, and it was like, no, that was blocked. Yeah. But the other thing about Grant was he's continued to add tools. Like, it wasn't that long ago he wasn't a kicker, and now he's like the biggest part of his game is his kicks. And so, he was killing Martinetti with the kicks and some knees up the middle. And I'm like, Grant's 40 years old. He looks better at 40 than he did at 30.
by a mile. Like, I thought he was gonna wash out in like 2018 or something like that. Yeah. Here he is 8 years later, and he's probably the best version that we've seen of him at 40.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna ask you how much you believe in him because I think we've seen his ceiling. But I think when his name gets brought up in random conversation, or 10 years from now, when you look and he fight his next fight, he takes on a prospect. We'll say it's a legit prospect. We'll say someone I don't know, but someone, and then that guy 7 years from now is fighting in title fights. And you're looking at his ranking, and me and Ben are saying, well, he'd probably be a bigger favorite if it wasn't for that loss to Davy Grant back in 2026. And we're like, damn, remember Davy Grant? And then we start reminiscing and be like, dude, remember when Davy Grant went on like this winning streak at 40 years old? And like, that's how I kind of feel like this is the peak. But damn, dude, enjoy it. Like, this is fun. I love Davy Grant.
Oh yeah, dude. I think it was roughly the time that the pandemic hit, and he went from this fairly boring grappler to just a blood and guts brawler. And he's been so much fun to the point where the fact that he's doing what he's been doing at this age, I think he's got an outside chat at Ben's Hall of Fucking Awesome at this point.
Yeah, about a week or so ago. It's very rare for me and my wife to watch movies together. Like, usually if we're watching movies, we're watching with the whole family. We're doing like a family night where we watch one movie and everybody. I'm trying to think what movie we watched something the other day. Oh, all of us watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, God.
And then afterwards, me and my wife were just sitting. It was like early. It was like a rainy Friday, so we didn't have anything. Like usually my daughter has like a softball game, so it was an early and start. So it might be like 9:30 when the movie's over. Me and my wife are just sitting on the couch flipping, and she's like, "Let's watch a movie." And I'm like, "Stop flipping." And I said, "You haven't seen this movie?" And it was a movie by Tom Cruise. It was called Far and Away. It's actually a really underrated movie.
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen it.
Yes.
And all right, so Tom Cruise is like, long story, he's an Irishman, comes over and he's boxing in the 1800s and shit. And I'm like, Davy Grant seems like that one of those 1800 guys got pushed,
Yes.
Just change him. Just he'd be Tom Cruise. Like, get rid of, you know who he is in it? Remember, I don't know how well you remember the movie, but when there was like an older gentleman who was like the boxer, he was like the mafia kind of guy, but he was also would box too, and he was like, like 50s. Like, that's Davy Grant. Like, he's like the older, like he's not the champion, he's not the Ilya Taporia is the Tom Cruise character, but he's like that, just like, oh, I'll scrap it up too. Davy Far and Away Grant. Probably, like I said, I went on a nice little run. I think it was 4 upsets. I think this is my third upset mention. Yeah, because it was Edwards, Garcia. So 4 on the main card. This is my best one. Montel Jackson took on maybe a Shillan Duffy's favorite fighter. Maybe he's up there. He's getting on the Mount Rushmore of all-time Shillan and Duffy favorite fighters. Hani Barcelos. Barcelos wins a split decision. Dude, that's my boy. I love me some Hani Barcelos. One of the closest fights on the card. Obviously, it was a split decision. How did you score the fight?
29-28 for Barcelos.
That's exactly. I'm assuming the second and third for Barcelos.
Yes.
Yeah, I checked on MMA decisions. The media agreed with us. It was 9-1 for Barcelos. Not the most scorecards for an event. Usually, the numbered ones will pull like 25, 30 scorecards. The fight night's a little less. The fans on this site, it was the opposite though. It was 51% for Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, but you got to remember, when fans submit their scorecards, they're also betting on the fights, picking so the close rounds goes to the guy they want to win, or the guy they're pulling for. So I definitely don't weigh the fans. I like to throw it out there, but I definitely don't weigh the fans' opinion as much as I do the media ones.
No, I'm with you on that. Just if anything, I actually would have expected more people to have potentially scored at a draw, because the first half of the first round, holy shit, that, like, you could have argued a 10-7 if you were just scoring the first half of that round. Jackson was laying into Barcelos, and holy shit, I don't know how Barcelos was able to come back without having to go sit on the stool, but he won the second half of that first round.
It's because it's Barcelos. It's what he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
That point after the whatever that was, it was a very first flurry of Jackson, and he hurt him multiple times in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the fight. That said, the striking was a lot closer to the rest of the fight.
Oh no, I agree. And I thought that the second and third round were pretty clearly for Barcelos because while the striking was fairly even, Barcelos also had moments of grappling within each of those rounds.
Yeah.
So,
takedowns. Yeah. I mean, he hit his back in every round. The reason why I didn't go 10-8 for Jackson was because Barcelos did have some good moments in the first round. Like he got a takedown, he got his back, he finished the round in a choke. I mean, there was twice Jackson arguably, and again, we never know how close it is, but that he was arguably saved by the bell as he was a right naked choke. One point, I don't know if you saw this one. One, he was like, he actually lifted his hand up like he was going to tap out, and it was about 5 seconds left. And I think I don't know if you heard his corner saying like 5 seconds. He's like, I'm just going to suck this up for 5 seconds or what. But Barcelos, I mean, dude, the guy's got some super slick back takes. He's got good takedowns. Some of the foot sweeps inside. He's very unorthodox, but foot sweeps inside. I'm like, this dude, and the biggest thing about it is his mindset. He's a gamer. He knows it's going to be hard. He knows he's going to get hurt. He knows that there's going to be some shit moments, but he's going to find a way to overcome it.
Yeah. Barcelos, the guy's got ice in his veins. I mean, keep in mind that he was what, like roughly a -1,000 underdog against Peyton Talbot.
Yeah,
something in that neighborhood. He could have given a shit. He went in there and scored. I think that was the biggest betting upset of the year for that year. Barcelos is a damn stud, and we're talking about Grant.
I understand why Talbot would be. Well, obviously he won, so like hindsight being 2020, like obviously he shouldn't have been an underdog. But I'm okay with Talbot being a favorite, but nobody should be that big of a favorite against Honey Barcelos. Give me the champion.
Agreed.
I want the champion that big of a favorite against Honey Barcelos.
Agreed.
Another thing, like when you think of the raw skills, I mean Jackson's athleticism, physical, like frame, his everything says like champion, champion level. Well, Barcelos doesn't have anything, and his age and everything doesn't have anything that. But mindset wise, it was 1-1 going to the third, and the third kind of started a little slow, and then Barcelos, closed the gap, and it wasn't the biggest action fight, but when it was time to dig deep, Barcelos easily dug deep, and Jackson did it. Jackson let it slip away.
Yeah, no, I think that's the second fight in a row that Jackson let slip through his fingers because his contest with Figgy, he just did a bunch of staring in that one. And if he just would have put the gas on a little bit, I think he could have won that one.
Yeah, low output fight, gave us some takedowns in a fight like he easily could have won. Honestly, it kind of was a little bit like the Norma Dumont fight, where like Norma lost, but if she did a little bit more, she could have won that fight.
And she didn't. No, exactly. And here's what sucks for Jackson. I know a lot of people like to think that he's still a prospect. He's 34 now.
No, yeah, he's old. he's definitely not like his prime is he's on the back end of his prime. Never mind a prospect. Speaking of prospects, I'm giving Barcelos a big match next. He's going to be ranked top 15, but I'm giving him a big fight.
Who are you giving him?
He's been in the UFC forever. I'm giving him a main event. I'm giving him Apex main event, and he's going to be a huge underdog again. I'm giving him Raul Rojas Jr.
Ooh, I like that.
I know everyone makes fun of me that I say his name wrong. Rosas Jr.
Raul Rosas. Yeah, no, I actually had Marlon Vera, but I think I like yours better.
I think he beats the piss out of Marlon Vera right now. I think I don't mind the matchup, but because obviously there's a lot of matchups I make where I'm favoring one guy big, but where even Marlon Vera, like when he was on his rise, I think Barcelos is a terrible stylistic matchup against him. A guy who gets hit, like Vera hits hard, but Barcelos gets hit hard and always finds a way to recover, and then he's on the pressure wrestling you. I think they very be on his back for majority of the fight.
Thing is, though, like I mean, there's a narrative there too, though, with Barcelos facing Rosas. You know, Rosas, even though he's been in the UFC for several years at this point, he's still one of the youngest people on the roster.
Oh yeah. He is
And
a prospect. He's a
yeah,
definition of prospect. Yeah.
and Barcelos, he's not the oldest bantamweight. I think that's probably Grant, but he's up there. If he's he's second or third oldest bantamweight, I'm pretty sure of that. So no, there's a narrative already for that. And like you said, make that a main event. That one's an easy sell, even if it's just an Apex main event. That's a badass main event.
Yeah. Rosas is hard to pick against because he's at that age where it's like every fight he can make just the most dramatic leaps in improvement.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
but
you kind of, when you make a pick again, you're picking a fight with Rojas, you're guessing. Obviously, you're guessing every fight what's going to happen, but there's a little more stats and what you see now. You kind of what you see Aljamain Sterling now. You don't expect him to be better. You're most like, does he decline?
Yeah.
Rosas is like the opposite. You've never seen what he can become, and you're kind of guessing how far he's improved in 3 months.
Exactly. The one thing that we know that he's not going to be able to make up, though, in comparison to Barcelos, is just the fight savvy. Barcelos has been there. He's done that. He's seen everything at this point. So there's a trick or two that I think he might be able to teach Rosas. So, like I said, I think that you are spot on with that one. I would go back and revise.
Before that, Ryan Spann took out Marcus Buches, this fantastic jiu-jitsu practitioner, and Spann with an incredible knockout, winning by second round TKO. He should. What I'll say about Spann? I mean, first of all, he came in super heavy, and I was worried about that, but he showed improved wrestling defense, and even more impressive, we always knew he had a good guillotine, and I mean, he was putting Buches in the grappling exchanges in trouble. I thought Spann looked pretty. I mean, he was breathing pretty hard, and I mean, it was a high paced fight for a heavyweight. I thought Spann looked pretty good.
He looked good, but I still watched him get into some of those grappling exchanges voluntarily with Buches, and I'm just like, dude, you are this close to giving away the fight.
Yeah.
Like
you're walking on thin ice.
Yes, no, exactly. He was playing with fire. It's like, dude, that's the only way that Buches is going to beat you. Like, if you stand up and strike with him, Buches doesn't have a chance. But he kept engaging him on the ground, and when he did eventually finish the fight, it wasn't striking. So it's almost like, see, dude, that's what I'm trying to tell you. But
yeah, he was playing with fire on thin ice.
Yes.
on a wire, on thin ice.
With a noose around his neck.
I thought he looked terrible. Telegraphing his entries, like you could see him coming a mile away. When he shot, he would shoot with his head straight down. I always try, like, stuff I teach little kid. When I mean little, I mean 8-year-old kids wrestling. I always say, like, when we shoot our entries, we want to be like a car. We want to go straight. I always say, we don't want to be a plane. You don't want to crash. Don't crash the plane. You can't shoot with your head down, and you're crashing the plane into the mat. So it's like, especially, you got to come to the kid classes, dude. You shoot with your head straight down, and he has that BJJ, like these BJJ guys. They believe, like, I grab the leg and that's the end of the move. It's like, no, that's just the beginning. Grabbing the leg, like, yeah. You gotta lift it up. You gotta run you gotta get your hips into it. You gotta run your feet. You gotta turn the corner. Use your head. You gotta follow through. Like this B, C, D, E, and F. You're only on step A, and even your step A is bad.
Dude, I don't know. Who is it that has the phone numbers? Maybe you can contact Buches and offer some training for him. Coach Shillan.
Well, I've said this, and I'm not the first person to say it, but and I understand, and I know Ben Askren has said covered this a bunch of times, and obviously he speaks on much higher authority in jiu-jitsu, but especially in wrestling than I am, and he's got a brilliant mind for the game of wrestling. But he's gone on big rants in the past saying BJJ gyms needs to do wrestling. Like
Yes.
if you have a 2-hour BJJ class, 45 minutes of it needs to be wrestling class.
About the only BJJ guy that I can think of that really was able to successfully become a decent grappler, or not grappler, wrestler, is Demian Maia.
DMI, yeah. Ricardo Rona. Ricardo Rona in his heyday was a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah, no, that was about 20 years ago, so that's easy for me to forget. But yeah,
I'm dating myself. Yeah, and I understand. And when I'm talking about BJJ, I'm talking about the high level BJJ gyms.
Yeah,
that are competing on high level scales. There's different levels of gyms. Like my wrestling team is different than other wrestling. Like our wrestling team goes to the US Open today. They go to, the high school kids are going to Fargo. They go into, right now we have Fargo practices going on, and they're at the NHCA, whatever it was, the Virginia Beach. And, we're a high level school. Like there's other ones that just like the local club. I'm not talking about your local jiu-jitsu club where older fat guys go to lose some weight, but also have some self-defense. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about 40-year-old guys rolling. I'm talking about guys competing in Naga and the high level shit like that. BJJ gyms need wrestling.
No, I get that. And that's the reason why I said that Maya is the only one I can think of that successfully made that conversion. And because with the BJJ, for example, with Buches, obviously this is something that has been ingrained into him with regards to the BJJ. Wrestling is going to be something that's difficult to become a second nature for him at this point, given that this is something that he's only picking up later in his life. He's how old now? Let's see here.
He's up there.
36. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to learn to wrestle now. I mean, he's lost his window.
Yeah, no, at this point, I think you're right. And by the way, he wouldn't be hating on Ben. Ben's at least gotten rid of his gut. I've still got one, so.
Oh, Ben looks good, dude. I'll give him that. He's hardcore. I need to follow him. I remember there was a time when I was the skinny one on the show, and that is long gone. Not that I was ever skinny, but Ben looks good. The KO was awesome though. The KO, man. Ryan Spain he actually lifted him off his feet.
Yes,
I was going to say that movie
that
Friday
would be
when he elbowed the guy, and the guy went flying.
Yes. Oh man, it's been forever since I've seen that. We're dating ourselves again. Anyway,
yeah. Speaking of old jiu-jitsu guys, Rodolfo Vieira took on Eric McConaughey. McConaughey winning a unanimous decision. Vieira not getting the submission in the first round when he took him down and was in 8 different submission holds. Eventually had a deep armbar, belly down armbar, and McConaughey getting out. To me, is just exhibit 1,000 that BJJ is for the most part is dead in MMA. I don't remember, and DC does it every time. Joe Rogan does it every time. Anytime someone rolls underneath and grabs a guy's leg and they're like knee bar or heel hook, and they get all excited. I don't remember the last time that happened where I'm like, oh shit, the guy might have something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that myself.
It just doesn't work.
I mean, I don't know. Does Walter Walker count?
Yeah, he's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Walter Walker.
But that's also heavyweight. So
no, yeah, it's Walter Walker. Unless it's Walter Walker, it doesn't work. I'll say this: McConaughey fought well. I mean, he stayed composed in the grappling exchanges early, and then Vieira gasped bad. He had no head movement. McConaughey still has some left. Vieira looks shot.
Yeah. No, he when he first came in, he looked like a brick shit house, and still pretty much does. But he also had the athleticism to back it up, and I wasn't seeing that this time against McConaughey. When he did land a couple of clean punches, it didn't have that oomph that I remember him seeing before. He had better form than I remember from the past, but there just wasn't really anything behind it at this point.
Yeah. Speaking of shot, all-time thug Cedric Dumas took on Jason McVeigh winning by first round TKO. There's not really much to say about this. Sajikas Dumas sucks. McVeigh got to the clinch, beat him up pretty good in the clinch, knocked him down, and choked him out quick. And it's once again, Dumas had a very quick tap.
Yeah, no, very impressive uppercut that he caught him with. Good to see McVeigh was doing some homework because, they asked him, were you planning on that? And he's like, yeah, he's got a good jab. And so I figured that was a great counter. Yeah, I haven't been very high on McVeigh, but he showed that he's willing to put in some study and do his homework. So, and given his freakish frame, he's a 6'4" middleweight. He might be able to grow into something more than what I would have expected. So that's a good one. That's a good one.
But too, I said give Dumas 2 more chances. That's what his lawyer said to the judge. Like, give him a couple more chances, Judge. All right, let's go to let's do one more fight. Before that, Mayra Bueno Silva took on Michelle Montague. Montague winning by unanimous decision. Do we want to talk about the fight? I'm gonna let you pick. Do you want to talk about the fight first, or do you want to talk about the commentary?
Let's talk about the fight.
Okay. Second round didn't go Montague's way. Like, she definitely did not have her best performance. She's kind of slowed down a little bit. That said, what the hell is the commentary team looking at? She looked freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She had a rough rush. She kind of gassed herself, and then she found her second win and dominated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she stiff on the feet? Sure. But you know what she reminds me of? Like a female Brock Lesnar. She's freaking jacked. She gets takedowns, and when she gets fight on the ground, she beats your ass.
The thing that the commentary team was not taking into account is the fact that she is still a prospect. I know that she's on the older end for a prospect at 32, sure, but she's still learning. And like you said, dude, she is absolutely jacked, and she brutalized Silva in that first round. I know that a lot of it was just control and grappling and stuff that she was able to exercise over her, but some of those elbows that she got through was enough to convince me, ooh, that's a 10-8. Montague looked freaking awesome. And yeah, sure, she gassed out a little bit, slowed down in the second round, had to dig a little bit deeper in the third to pull that out. But the fact that she went through that is going to benefit her in the long run, knowing that she can go find that extra gear when she needs to, even after she's tired. So, yeah.
I feel good about it.
Down the stretch, she had some problems, but I think that she's going to learn from those. So, honestly, if I'm her coach, I'm ecstatic that the fight went the way it did, because you want your fighters to get into some sticky situations before they're fighting the elite.
Yeah, and she's obviously, she is jacked. She's like Kayla Harrison level jacked. She's such a physically imposing fighter. That alone in that division, 135 from females, she looks like she's a future top 5 fighter to me. Like, I have a completely different view. I'm going to talk about 2 things that I do have issues with. First, the continued refereeing, terrible. In the second round, it was going Mayra Bueno Silva's way. She was already lost the first, but it was going her way. She was having a lot of success.
Yeah.
And then she gets taken down by Montague. She up kicks Montague in the face.
Yes.
The referee clearly in the face, clearly Leo, both knees were down. Does not take a point. To me, up kicks, depending on where, if it's a grazing one, no, but you get a clean up kick, it should be a point. Doesn't take a point, but makes matters worse. They restart back on the feet. So I get taken down where the girl beats my ass. So I decide to up kick her. So, like, kick her square in the face illegally. They don't take a point, and they restart me on the feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, let me Montague for a second and be like, what? Like I worked all this way to get a takedown, and she does something illegal, and she get put back on her feet.
Yeah. No, Montague was basically punished for the penalty that was committed against her. So, yeah, no, she should have been able to go back to the ground for sure.
So my son plays soccer, and which I hate. I always like to tell more stories. I would like to tell more stories about my son's wrestling than my son's soccer, but his friends play it, and he's actually really good at it. My son's very athletic, but I was watching his soccer, and his team was going down the field with the ball, but they had the ball, and a kid on the other team fell down and got hurt. It was like, oh my god, I got someone stepped on my toe or some shit. I don't know. Like being a soccer player, it was like falling on the grass, like holding his leg behind them, and I'm like, and then the referee blows the whistle. I'm like, wait a minute, like we have the ball, and we have to stop our offense when we have an advantage because their player got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of similar. I feel it's like this. Like, why are you punishing her? So I'm like, I said to my wife, I'm like, if they stop the play because someone falls down, why don't someone fall down every single time you have a breakaway?
Mm-hmm.
Like your team has a breakaway. I go, oh shit, they're about to score on us. I fall down, and because someone kicked me in the shin or some shit. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I still don't.
Honestly,
I'm still not getting soccer.
If I'm a soccer coach, dude, I'm having all of my players take acting classes, because that's what soccer players do the best.
Yeah, be like Gordon Bombay in the first Mighty Ducks. Like take the flop.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, soccer's not my sport either.
Yeah, I like Monty. All right, so here's the other thing I want to talk about. What the hell? You know what? Actually, well, we'll see if the dude seriously. We'll leave the commentary because it was to be an all-time dude seriously commentary. Like what the fuck, DC and Dominic Cruz. All right, so now it's everyone's favorite portion of the show. It's a show where me and Dayne take a break from talking for MMA for very briefly, and we get to know the hosts. Last week we had the theme was all about our wives. Me and Ben talked about our wives because they were in Canada, and I've talked at great length, and my wife is Canadian. A listener reached out said you guys should talk about like your heritage, where you guys from, like what's your nationality, what your parents do. So Dan, I want to put you on the spot. Only answer what you feel comfortable with. I'm not going to ask you like your sister's name or shit like that. But what's do you have any brothers and sisters?
2 sisters and a half brother.
2 sisters and a half brother. Are they older or younger than you? What's the dynamic?
Half brother is the oldest. Dad had a previous marriage before he met my mom, and older sister and a younger sister.
So you're dab in the middle. And you live in Utah. Have you always lived in Utah?
2 years in Oregon.
2 years in Oregon, but the western is used to that's considered west, right? Or is that like considered?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know like how far. Where does the west start? Yeah. Texas is considered west, so that.
Yeah.
What's your nationality? Like, do you know your like parents' nationality and all that?
Oh yeah, easily. My grandfather on my mother's side was the first person in his family born in the United States. All of the others were, well, not all the others, but previously from Denmark. And funny enough, Danish on my dad's side as well, along with English. So I'm roughly half English, half Danish. Ironic given my name.
Is that common in Utah? Like what I know Utah is like a Mormon area, but what's in that?
Oh yeah. Definitely a lot of English. I think in comparison to the rest of the country, there's probably a lot more Danes here than there, at least Danish nationality, than there is throughout the rest of the country. Because I've met quite a few Danes, like the name Dane, and I know that a lot of that has to do with the Danish nationality.
Okay.
Kind of funny, but yeah, no, Garrett Clemens is 100% right there. But yeah, no, lots
Mr.
of
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm being told that I don't know what nationality. What am I getting this wrong? What are you talking about? Nationality is where you like where your ancestors, like in America. Maybe he's not American. In America, most of us come from immigrants, and your nationality is what country did your parents and grandparents and all them come from? Am I getting it right? Am I wrong?
No, I that's you did. I think you also said heritage at one point, which is
I wouldn't hold
basically
them.
interchangeable with regards to nationality. You know.
Okay, yeah. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. we'll leave that to Ben. Ben's better than that stuff. Okay, so you're Danish and English.
Mm-hmm.
You got two sisters and a half brother.
Yes.
And when did you live in Oregon?
2006 to 2008.
Okay. And then so you were you in Utah before that, then you went to Oregon, then you came back. What was in Oregon?
Oh, well, you did point out one other thing. What is Utah known for?
Girl?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. What's Utah known for?
Arranged marriages? No, where you were on a mission. What do they call it? I'm sorry. I apologize for not knowing what it's called, but when they have to
the 2-year missions, yes.
Okay, so you had to so what was that? You knock door to door and tell people to come to your church?
I didn't tell people nothing like that. It's an invitation only, man.
So, why Oregon? Do you pick where you go, or do you get sent?
Hell no. You can throw in specific things in there, like perhaps you had ancestry into a particular land or anything like that, and say, hey, I think it would be fun to be able to go there. But in all honesty, it really is just a luck of the draw. The only thing that I said was, hey, I want to be lazy and not learn a new language. But fortunately, I didn't have to. In retrospect, I kind of wish that I had. But no, it's very random. Very random.
Oh, they're saying nationality is where you're a citizen from. You're thinking of ancestry. Oh, fuck off. How about that? Yeah, I think these guys might be right. I think I'm an idiot. Yes. Well, okay. All right. Well, maybe
it's your turn though. It's your turn though.
Yeah,
it's your turn, man.
It's funny because where I'm from, I've never heard anybody say what's your ancestry. Everyone says what's your nationality. But from here, no one ever asks.
Well, the way that I generally like to put it is, we speak American here, and so long as you get your point across, and you're speaking proper American. So,
now, what did your parents? What did your parents do? Are they still work? Or are they retired or what?
Dad was a fiber optics lineman for years.
Nice.
At this point, he retired several years ago. Died last year. It was for the best at this point. At that point, he had dementia. But anyway, Mom was a secretary for years. She's retired now too.
Nice. So I have like a little bit of everything. So obviously in New England, a lot of the immigrants came here. So I'll start with my mom's family. So my mom's father was the youngest son. He was kind of similar to your situation. He was the only son born in America, or the youngest child. All the rest of them were born in Portugal. So I grew up in the area that's very Portuguese. I don't look like it, but if you ever saw my mom's dark skinned. She don't look nothing like me. I look like my dad. So and then her mom met my grandfather during World War II. She was from England. He was in the army in America. They met each other like when he was stationed in England, and then she came over on the Queen Elizabeth boat, the famous Queen Elizabeth boat.
Very cool.
So on that side, so I'm like a quarter English for sure. I'm a quarter Portuguese. My dad's father's family, we don't really know anything about. like we don't really know his history, so we have like I think we have a little bit of everything in there. And then my dad's mother's family has a little bit of everything too, because they can actually track one side of her family all the way back to the Mayflower.
Oh, damn.
Like
I love that type of stuff.
To like the original pilgrims. Like when she died, there's like an organization called the Daughters of the Mayflower. And you have to like, and only for women, like you can't, like men can't be in it, but like my daughters, when they die, they can be, or they can actually become members of the Daughters of the Mayflower or whatever. So
very cool.
So yeah, I'm a quarter Portuguese, probably about I don't know, more than a quarter English, and then who knows? I'm really a mutt, but I definitely look like my dad. It's funny, my dad did like an ancestry thing like way back when it was before you did it online. Like you had to get like a book. Like I remember as a kid, and the book said that we were related to Abraham Lincoln, and we were related to William the Conqueror. It goes way back.
Damn.
I always thought it was a bunch of bullshit. like they have to sell some, throw some couple famous people in there, and it wasn't what it was Abraham Lincoln's brother that someone grandfather up.
No, dude, to be honest with you, at this point the actual lineage of Abraham Lincoln is snuffed. So like you cannot be directly to Lincoln. Like his kids mostly died young, and then the few that did continue. Yeah.
Like so Robert Lincoln, Robert. Yeah.
So it would have to be the brothers, like you said.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, but I always remember being a skeptic, and I'm being like they have to put a famous person in this, if not, like no one else is going to order it. But then my uncle, the one who lives in Texas, he did one of those like DNA ones or 21andMe and one of these things, and it came back again that we were related to Abraham Lincoln. I'm like, all right, tell the truth. It didn't go as far back as William the Conqueror, so I don't know if I'm really related to William the Conqueror, but supposedly we're related to Abraham Lincoln. I don't know. And then there was one article in there. They actually had an article of some distant relative that was he died and he was found dead in the shed. I always remember that. That was the headline: found dead in the shed. some relative. I do have as far as siblings, I have 2 older siblings. I have 2 older sisters. My parents, they're both retired now, but my dad always did like home repair. When he got like kind of too old for, he still does some stuff, but when he got too old for that, he only owned his own business. And when he got too old for that, he did like home inspections. And then he worked at Amtrak for a while too. So he worked for like a train, not driving the train, like fixing tracks and stuff. My mom was like a secretary for a mental institution here in Rhode Island, and I remember when I was
which one?
Butler.
Okay. So not one of the famous ones.
I don't know if we have famous ones in Rhode Island. Like Eleanor Slater.
I can't off the top of my head. I can't think of any right now, but yeah.
Okay. But I remember when I was a little kid, probably like first grade, second grade, we only had one car. And when my dad would have to pick up my mom up from work, but like we were young, so you had to take all the kids. And I remember us waiting every day. Then one time someone got out, and I remember like just the guy started running across, like some crazy guy started running across like the yard, and like these people were chasing him. And my dad was sitting there, we were in the car. So I mean, my mom was like a record keeping. She had nothing to do with the people, but so anyways. So that's just a little bit. We'll get into it one day with Ben. We could probably get a little further into it. We'll let Ben know if it's nationality or ancestry. But
with him, he's got the Vietnamese and all that fun stuff, and then he can also tell us more stories about giving Dan Helly stale pretzels. So,
and he also has some connections to Utah. I know he grew up Mormon. He grew up Mormon too. So,
yeah,
Do you? Are you?
Me and him have talked a little bit about that.
Do you still practice or no?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you still, but he doesn't.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's fine. Honestly, like more than half of my family doesn't practice it anyway. So, to each their own.
Yeah. Antoine Willis asked, all right, well, that's about what is one country you would want to visit? I would like to check out Australia. I've never been like that far, and I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think me and you did that one before.
Yeah, I'm just answering for Antoine. Antoine always asks the best questions, so
no, Antoine does ask good questions.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's finish up these last fights. The upset of the night. Cody Durden on 4 days' notice took on Jafel Filio. Durden won by unanimous decision. I had 4 upsets. The 4 upsets I think were Spann, Edwards, Garcia, and one other one. I can't remember what the other one was. Oh, Barcelos. I'm thinking Barcelos was a favorite. I did not have this one. I wish I had this one. I did not have this upset. His job was probably on the line. He took the day 4 days. He probably did job on the line. Great showing by Cody Durden.
Dude, I think beyond just having his job on the line, I think he probably would have been cut if he didn't take this, because I think that the UFC kind of holds on to some of them for a little while before they cut him loose, just in case something like this happens. And, hey, you want a chance to keep your job? All right, here you go. Go fight. I'm pretty sure this was one of those things. And like you said, dude, Durden scored. He brought the pressure to Filo, and even though Durden was the one that took the fight on short notice, it was Filo that was flagging at the end, which all the more credit.
There was about 3 minutes left in the fight. I had it 1 round each. They were both in like a clinch position, over under, and I expected Filo to be able to take down Durden because he just did and win the fight. And instead, Durden spun the takedown around, ended up being on top himself, controlling for majority of the rest of the fight. And he just dug deep. And I my notes on him recently was kind of thinking like, all right, this guy's done. He's he's really fallen off. Good for Durden. Watching this, I try not to overreact to one loss, but more react to what happened in the losses. And I think Filo might be exposed. He might not be the guy we thought he was.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking as I was watching too.
Like he was going for like youth level wrestling. Like he was even Dominic. Like they were not good, but Dominic Cruz was good in this position. When you're talking about like dude, he's trying to Peterson. Like you're trying to Peterson, a former college wrestler. Like really, like that shit don't work. Like that shit don't work. I didn't even show Peterson to like my. I mean, other coaches have, but I don't show Peterson my son. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna show you a move that works till like maybe 6th grade, and then doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, no, and beyond that, given that Durden has been prone to getting submitted, I thought that this was a favorable matchup for Filo.
So did I.
And Filo couldn't do it, not against Durden, and that's what just like.
It wasn't even that he got out grappled 2 out of 3 rounds.
Yeah,
also on the feet, like he was loading up and telegraph all his big power shots. He looked terrible.
I'm wondering if cutting off his weight cut early might have thrown him off. Because I think back to Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. McGregor was supposed to fight RDA at 155. And then when Diaz slips in there on short notice, McGregor just kind of, he got fat, so to speak. He didn't really give much care to his weight cut anymore. Just did whatever he wanted. I'm wondering if something like that could have happened with Filo because
maybe that would explain it better.
Yeah,
that would explain it better.
I can't think of any other reason why he looked as bad as he did.
Mr. C in the informality said, when we hit 6th grade, we were banned from head and arms. Head and arms are also what people call headlocks. I totally understand that. However, today, the finals of the U.S. Open, Luke Littledahl hit a headlock, a left-handed headlock in the closing, like literally at the buzzer, to beat Spencer Lee, come from behind victory. So maybe he shouldn't give up on the headlocks. At least have it in your back pocket for desperation, like you did. All right. Before that, we had another fight that was added last minute. This was added 5 minutes before me and Ben actually recorded. It was Francis Marshall took on Lucas Brennan. Marshall, to me, has the same feel I have for Jocelyn Edwards. Every single fight, he adds more and more skills to his game. He's going the right direction. What stood out to me this one is just how spectacular his topside grappling is.
Mm-hmm.
We kept hearing about how good Brennan's grappling is, and Marshall was not only on top of him for most part, he was beating him to positions, advancing. Like, he looked good.
No, I agree Marshall looked good, but I'll be the first to admit I'm not as familiar with Brennan. Like, I'm not completely unfamiliar with him. I remember some of his stuff on Bellator, but he was one of those guys that Bellator was slow rolling, and he was just largely beating up bums on the prelims and stuff like that. So I acknowledge Marshall looked good, but I also don't know how much of that is just Brennan probably doesn't belong here. I don't know. I'll have to see more from Brennan before I make an official decision on that.
Yeah, to me, I just one thing I wrote in my notes, like, Brennan looked checked out by the second. Like, he like accepted defeat, and about midway through the second, especially in the third, he was in survival mode. Like, he was just trying to get to the scorecards and not get hurt.
Yep.
I mean, there was one, I'm sitting there in his corner's like, oh, you need to finish. You're down 2-0. And he's in the third round, and it was like 30 seconds of the fight, and he just like stood there and just like, and Marshall's like, yeah, they're about to win. Like, he just did nothing. I'm like, throw a high kick, throw a flying knee, do something, dude. Like, give yourself it's MMA. You can lose of a 15-minute match. You can lose 14 minutes and 59 seconds and land the perfect punch and win it.
Exactly.
Give yourself a shot. Before that, Max Griffin took on Victor Valenzuela. Valenzuela winning in a unanimous decision. What was your scorecard on this?
I think I was 29-28 Valenzuela.
Yeah, I did. I can't remember if I went 30-27 or 29-28, but I gave it to Valenzuela. He just pressed the fight and had more output.
Yeah. Not the
Max is shot, but he's crafty enough to be able to sustain a fight to be low output to keep himself in range of possibly winning. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And that's the thing that Griffin has been able to do with his opponents is he doesn't get tired. He got tired in this one. He's 40 years old. Valenzuela didn't show me anything that really made me think, oh, yeah, good addition. It's kind of like, yeah.
No, we didn't like him on. This is actually one of the fights I got wrong. I did pick Max Griffin. So I picked 5 upsets. This is the one upset I missed. Yeah. But yeah, both me and Penn both picked Max, and it was more of like, we don't believe in Max. We're just like, Valenzuela is not good. Even now, I still just like what I'll say is he had the right strategy. He stepped on the gas. That's all he had to step on the gas and have more output and make it just uncomfortable for Griffin at times. And it was simply like, I think I'm going to give Griffin the first and then Venezuela the second. And the third round was like close. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, Max, just step on the gas. You could win this thing. And he just couldn't.
Yep.
He was throwing one punch for every 2 or 3 that Valenzuela. And not that Valenzuela had this huge output. It's just that's the pace that I always go back to, like when Andre Arlovski had like a late career surge in the UFC. And I was like, he looks bad, but he's winning. When he was beating like Tanner Bozer in fights, like that's where Max Griffin is now. But at that weight class, it's just much harder.
Yeah.
And the first fight of the night, another big upset, Talita Alencar beat Julia Pilastri. Alencar winning by unanimous decision. I said the other fight was the closest fight. I said Jackson Barcelos was a very debated scorecard. This is another one. I actually scored it for Pilastri. I scored a 29-28 for Pilastri. I looked at MMA decisions. It was 6-5 for Alencar, so it was very close. What was your scorecard?
Pilastri.
Okay, so we're in the same. And 68% of fans gave it for Pilastri. I will say this. All 3 rounds were close.
Yes.
Alucard needed the rounds to be close because of her. She had to like steal one while Pilastre was so much better. Alucard put herself in position to win it while Pilastre like was giving the fight away.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, open it. And I blame her coach too, because after the first round, when she was taken down and she lost that round, I would say do not throw a single kick except if it's below the knee. But like you're kicking to the body, and I understand why, but like it doesn't have as much of effect. The reward, I mean, yeah, sure, you could kick her and stop the fight with a body kick. I get it, but it's rare. The risk reward, there's a bigger risk that she's going to catch your leg like she did and take you down, and she did it twice, and won very close rounds because of it. Very disappointing. I mean, this is what you get when you get low level women's MMA.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to this fight?
Even though Pilastre has about double the amount of fights as Alucard's been competing in jiu-jitsu and whatnot. Yeah. So despite what the numbers show, Alucard was the veteran coming into this fight, and she absolutely showed it. You know, like you said, she was the one that was fighting smart. Pilastre still has the higher upside, but you know, she's either got to figure things out herself or get a better coaching staff around her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because honestly, on the feet, she's not a bad striker at all.
No. She's got the skills. She should have beaten Alucard is a better way to put it, but yeah.
All right, let's get to the fun stuff. As we've covered all 13 fights, let's start with Dude Seriously.
Dude Seriously.
We never start with Dude Seriously. Let's start with Dude Seriously. Do you have any Dude Seriouslys? I got a bunch.
You're not the only one.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll should we alternate some? Because I'm guessing that we probably got some. Yeah. Okay. I'll start.
Yeah. Well, let's alternate. Yeah. All right. Give me one.
Okay. During the Montague fight, somebody asked. I think it was Fitzy asked Cormier if he thought that the first round could have been a 10-8.
Yes, this is exactly what I was going.
Not even close. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is what I was going to rant about in that fight. And
dude, seriously,
like, what the hell are you talking? No, he goes, no, not close. It was competitive. Like, no, it was not. It wasn't competitive. Breno Silva was on her back from the very beginning, the 3 seconds into the round.
Yep,
she was on her back, getting the piss beat out of her. How could anybody not score that at 10-8 round? I was wondering if I should score a 10-7 round.
Like, I will say that Montague could have done more damage from the top position, but it's not like she didn't do any. She did plenty of damage.
Yeah, she landed tons of strikes. And then the only thing that might be worse is Dominic Cruz goes, but there isn't any blood. So it can't be a 10-8 round.
Yeah. Cruz and his weird obsession with the visibility of the damage and shit like that.
How can a guy who is such a great and very like cerebral fighter be so bad at commentating?
Well, here's what's worse. He's regressed. Like, he was better a few years ago.
Yeah, he's just checked out.
Yeah.
You see, like, when, like, I know it's like, you know, you go to like the Contender Series and you hear like Anthony Smith or Michael Kessler, like, commentating, like, they're so much better. You could tell guys who actually care and like put the research in, like, just. I understand why DC's there. I don't. There's some things I think I will pick on DC at some moments, but I understand like there's like a charm. He's like a like guy next door type charm to him. You know, like he has like one of the boys kind of talking.
Yeah.
But Cruz comes off kind of douchey, and he comes off. I don't know.
He's just so salty,
and yeah, like. I don't know, but the worst thing is DC goes. He says that's not a 10-8 round, and then Aljamain Sterling beats up
Salal in round 4.
Like, it's a 10-8 round. I was like, because it was complete domination from start to finish. I'm like, that was like the same exact thing, like the same round that Montague did. It was the same thing. Like, oh, he's so. And then he was also like talking shit about people scoring online, and I'm like, yeah, but they're all right. He's like, these guys
Yeah.
don't score. I'm like, yeah, they're right and you are wrong. All right, I'll give you one. Talita Alenkai, the very first fight, she wins. She won because she out wrestled and out grappled her opponent. On the feet, she got outstruck, but she won, and she was running around the cage saying, "Who's the better striker now?" Like, dude, seriously?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, give me another
one. Cormier had a hell of a night. After he interviews Jackson McVeigh,
okay.
Cormier, how he'll announce, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this time he says, "Ladies and Jackson, Jackson McVeigh." Oh God.
I never give anybody too much of a hard time for slipping up on a word, unless it's Bruce Buffer. He gets no mercy. Who surprisingly, as far as I know, did not screw up. Or at least I didn't.
No, he did not. He did not. He did not this time. But yeah, Cormier got ahead of himself too often tonight, so I wasn't giving him a pass on that. Anyway, go ahead.
I'll give you another one. DC saying you can't shoot on the UFC canvas. You don't want to shoot down to your knee like a drop step. And I'm like, dude, seriously? What the hell are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you can't do. Like, tell that to Josh Koscheck. Tell that to Matt Hughes. Tell that to George St. Pierre. Like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? You can shoot penetration steps at MMA.
Yeah. All right. Next, I've got. Did you? Okay. Buffer's reading out the decision of McConaughey Vieira, and then Fitzgerald's like, "All right, let's go to Bruce Buffer," and then complete silence.
Oh yeah,
and then you see McConaughey's arm go up. I'm like, dude, seriously, whose fault was that?
Yeah, I don't blame Buffer for that. It's like,
yeah, like I said, I wasn't blaming Buff, but yeah, it was like who screwed that one up?
Cody Darnett took the fight. He had his wife cornering him. First of all, dude, seriously, like, don't have your wife corner him. Second of all, holy like lip injections. I don't know if you caught her lips.
Yes,
huge and freaking. That's not the only place that has the injections. Like, dude, seriously, Cody Darnett's wife's got to turn it down a little bit. Maybe the guy would have to fight so much if she didn't get lip injections. But you got any more?
Oh yeah. When the main card started, Cruz, he did not know the names of the fighters. He was like, and then you see him pause and read the teleprompter.
That's all right. I do the same thing.
I know, but it's like, dude,
I can laugh at myself.
I get it, but he's sitting there with the microphone in his hand, staring at the thing, and it's like, okay, you couldn't have gotten that stuck in your head a little bit earlier, rather than turning and then forgetting, and then.
Yeah, and then he was breaking down Davey Grant and Martinetti, and he's like, and these guys got to fight to the other ends of the world. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Dude, seriously.
Yeah, no, commentary did not have a good night. Do you got more? Or?
Yeah, I got two more. I'll give you two more.
I still got a few more too. So
okay. Ryan Spann, like, he had a great night. Obviously, you got to win, but Ryan Spann weighed in at 265. Like, dude, seriously.
Yeah.
Not that I'm calling anybody fat, but damn, at least get the Diet Coke with it or something. Like, come on, dude.
Dude, if I'm not mistaken,
get the medium fry instead of the large. Like, super size.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he fought at middleweight at one point on the regional scene too. So holy crap! Like, he never should have, but
yeah. I mean, he was a big light heavyweight, but.
Oh, yeah.
240. If he wants to do it 240, 245, I'd go over 265. Dude, seriously.
At least he didn't look like Jake Collier, man. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but, that's true.
In other news with regards to that, I don't know if you saw Jake Collier's last fight, but he actually went down to 205 and looks good again. I don't know how long that'll stay, but anyway. Okay, here's a good dude, seriously. After or when Cormier is interviewing McVeigh, we're back to that again. McVeigh comes out using an Irish accent. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, seriously. Yeah. No, Jay Petrie was talking about.
I can't do any accents. Not a single one. I'm terrible at it.
I'll do it playing around with my daughter and stuff like that, but I know I
Okay.
suck at it too.
I can't do
but
a
yeah,
single. I can't do a single accent. I'm terrible at it.
if
I
it,
tried.
it- you
I
know
tried
what
doing
though,
a. I tried doing a Trump impression the other day, and I was terrible. How about DC saying that Buches' first UFC loss was by sub because he completely mixed him up with Hidalgo Vieira.
oh right,
Like he mentioned
yeah.
Hidalgo Vieira losing to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez by sub, and then he tried doing it, and then he did it again when Buches it came out. It's like, dude, seriously.
Yeah, and then when they were talking about Martinetti, Cormier, they mentioned that he trains at 7,000 feet altitude.
Okay.
Yeah, so at one point, yeah, you guys got to remember, Martinetti trains at 7,000 square feet altitude. I'm like,
Oh, did he
square
say that?
feet? Yes.
Square feet. Nice. Nice.
Damn it, DC.
Oh, God, DC. Oh, but honestly, that's it's like that's listen. As someone who was messed up nationality and so I still think I might be right on that, but whatever. Like I can't give it too much shit about square feet. You have any more?
That was my last one.
Okay. All right. So there's your dude. Seriously. Let's move on. Let's go. I'll let you pick. You want to do the awards? You want to go to the Bulls and Bears? You want to go to the Cutlass?
Let's do the awards. I know the awards. Do you know them?
I do too. I looked them up. But a lot of times my co-host, if Ben's not around. Let's do that. All right, so let's do this. We'll read the awards, and then if you disagree with one of them, point out which one you disagree with.
Okay.
All right. So the awards tonight there was a fight of the night and 2 performance bonuses. The fight of the night was Davy Grant versus Luna Martini, and Martinetti, not Martini. I think I'm drinking. And the performance of the night was Ryan Spann and Jackson McVeigh. There wasn't a lot of stoppages. I think those were the only 2 stoppages tonight, weren't they?
I think so. Let me double check.
Yeah, checking my notes. Think what I wrote down for my awards, I would go exactly with these ones. I'm okay with these.
I might have given the fight of the night to Barcelos and Jackson, but I'm not upset about Grant and Martinetti getting it. So
yeah, I understand. They always give it to the ones where there's more striking than grappling. I would say I was definitely more excited for the Barcelos Jackson because it was kind of like, it's intriguing who's going to win and everything. So I'd be okay with that. Even the main event wasn't too bad, but I'm surprised they didn't give it to the main event. All right, let's go to the Cutlass. No, let's go to the Bulls and Bears. The Bulls and Bears are a stock market venture. You want to be on the Bulls list. You do not want to be on the Bears list. We do it 3, 2, 1. Let's go Bulls first, and I'll let you kick it off.
Bulls. Definitely got to go with Michelle Montague. Came out, had a brilliant first round. Experienced some bumps in the road in the second and a little bit in the third, but at the same time, I think in the long run, that's going to be good for her. And I think that she's got a legit chance to be a champion in the very thin division in the not too far future. So definitely a bull for Michelle Montague. Big bull. Old bantamweights. You had Ione Barcelos, who's going to be 39 next month, and 40-year-old Davy Grant both coming out on top. Being an old bantamweight, hell yeah. And I will also go with Rafa Garcia. Came out, changed up his typical strategy, throw off his opponent, showed that he's able to mix things up, and just look like the best version of himself. So Rafa Garcia as well. So that's 3 bulls for me.
Yeah, I actually had all 3 of those on my list. So I always write backup ones because I always like to have at least 3. So
same here.
Though I thought she lost, we can't ignore that Talita Alencar is now on a 3-fight winning streak in the UFC. So her stock has completely risen. Talita Alencar. Maybe now that she's on a 3-fight winning streak, her fight won't be the opening fight of an Apex card, but probably still will be. My number 2. He's big, he's fat, but he's on a 2-fight winning streak in the heavyweight division. Ryan Spann, stop. He was left for dead not that long ago, and now he's on a 2-fight winning streak. I'm not believing it. I'm probably fading him, as the sharps like to call, fading him in his next fight. But have Ryan Spann stock. And my number 1 wasn't the greatest performance, but was a big name. She's moving up in the rankings, and she's won 5 fights in a row. We do our fantasy league. I picked Jocelyn Edwards. They laughed at me, and look at the run that Jocelyn Edwards is. As Be Cool did mention that Jocelyn Edwards would be a bull for me. All right, let's go to the Bears list. I'm gonna let you go again.
Okay.
So you don't want to be on the Bears list.
No. Bears is bad. Jafel Filo. This is a fight he should have won. 100%. He had all of the advantages coming into the fight. And I am really down on him after this fight. I thought he could have broken into the top 15 before the end of the year. I definitely do not see that at this point. Another bear, jiu-jitsu. You had both Buchecha and Vieira.
That was my number 1. I should have went first. I had that number 1. The old legends. You know me too well.
Yes.
Right? I love bashing jiu-jitsu.
Dude, I don't blame you, man. I mean, I know that you've been saying it forever, but you're 100% right. Like it's not that...
And can I make it good? Sean Sheehan is trying to. Yeah, Sean Sheehan is trying to make that his thing now. Dude, shut your Irish ass up. That is my thing, dude. I've been saying it forever. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, dude. No, you've been saying that even before you got on Sherdog. So
yes.
Yeah. All right, and my last bear for is Norma Dumont. It's not just that she lost, but the fact that she's as boring as she is, it is going to take her a long time to get back to where she was, because there's a possibility that if she'd have won this, she could have fought for the title after Kayla and Nunes take care of things. She may have cost herself that, because the UFC is happy to see her lose. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't tell my rating for one of them. I'm trying to figure out what I'm talking about. Okay, my number 3 is he had a winning streak snapped. He was on a 4-fight winning streak. That's not necessarily how his start was, but when Alex Hernandez knocked out Chase Hooper, he had a bunch of buzz. He followed that up with a knockout over Diego Ferreira. He was riding high, and then on a 4-fight winning streak, people were like, wow, this is the best run on his career. Then he got in this scandal with Michael Johnson at UFC 324, gambling scandal and everything. I'm not blaming either one of them. They both have fought since. And then he loses to Rafa Garcia. So his stock has completely dropped than it was at that moment. So that's my number 3. My number 2, she didn't look terrible today, and she did get beat up at times. She didn't look terrible, but she's lost 5 fights in a row. If you count the win against Holly Holm that was overturned, she has not won a fight in over 3 years. Mayra Bueno Silva. I mean, she fought for a UFC title, and she might be getting cut. And my number 1, it's going to be a guy that had, at one point, people were actually thought this guy could make a title run, and he's lost back-to-back fights, and both fights were very winnable. Montel Jackson, it has to be on the list. He was a dark horse pick to win a title, and now he's not even going to be ranked in the UFC. So that's Montel Jackson. We saved the best for last, the Cutlass. I got 4 for the Cutlass, and I was being nice. I could have had more, but I'm being nice. I have 4 for the Cutlass. The way the Cutlass works, if both me and Dayne have the same name on the Cutlass, we give the UFC permission to get rid of this person. How many do you have?
4, and I'm with you. I could have let somebody else go.
All right. You want to go with the most obvious?
Cedric.
Cedric is Dumas. Lost 3 in a row. He's a terrible human being. He's not even just the way it's the way he's losing. He's tapping quick. Like it's clearly just a paycheck for him.
Yeah, I have no clue what the UFC has seen in him the last year or so. I feel like he's been on my cut list for the last 3 times he's been on
Same.
there. So
same. But in fairness, me and Ben had like Sam Alvey on our cut list like 10 fights in a row. All right, give me one.
True. Max Griffin.
Yeah, absolutely. 40 years old. He's lost 3 fights in a row. Yeah, he's done.
He doesn't have it anymore.
Are you, speaking of not having anymore, are you saving Rodolfo Vieira? I'm getting rid of him. He's lost 3 out of the last 4. Are you saving Rodolfo Vieira?
Vieira was the one that I actually saved. I could be talked out of it, but
okay.
Yeah, I saved him and I cut Buchecha.
Oh, you cut? Yeah, I thought about. I mean, I get it. I mean, he's only 5-3-1 in his career. Yeah, he's 0-2. He has that draw. Yeah, I saved him because it's heavyweight MMA. But again, like I'm not arguing hard for him. You want to get rid of him. See you later. I think you saved her then. Oh no, you didn't give your 4th one, right?
Mm-mm.
Did you cut Mayra Bueno Silva, who lost 5 in a row? All right. So we have cut 3 people: Max Griffin, Mayra Bueno Silva, and Cedric Dumas. You saved Rodolfo Vieira. I saved Marcus Buchecha. So both Brazilian legend jiu-jitsu guys are still in the UFC. There wasn't too many super dull moments on the card, but I would say on the flip side, there wasn't any exciting moments. There wasn't like a fight of the year candidate or I mean, I guess the biggest moment was probably Ryan Span's knockout. That's probably the most exciting moment. That was pretty damn good. What was your grade for this card?
Oh god, it wasn't as bad as what the Sherdog Slack was talking. But
okay.
I don't know if you saw that, but yeah.
No, I'm not in the Slack. I'm not in the Slack enough. I slack off in the Slack. I slack.
And I get it, but I also understand why Jay gets really crabby with regards to this because he's doing play-by-play.
Sure.
So I think he was at about 14,000 words for the play-by-play. So, but yeah, I'd give it a C-.
Yeah, I had a C-. I'm sure there'll be D's and F's.
Yeah,
Juan Cruz went F. I report went C. I mean, we had some pretty fun fights, so that's why I didn't go D. Like the David Grant, and I guess the things I got excited happened. Like Honey Barcelos winning. I'm like, that's my boy. David Grant's my boy. So yeah, I go like C-. Definitely a forgettable card. Always the hardest question of the night. Dane, who is your listener of the night?
Oh boy. Oh god, give me one moment. I got to give props to Antoine Willis. Antoine always throws out some good questions, throws out some good comments.
Antoine's my boy. That's my boy.
No, exactly. But
I'm sure he's not. I'm surprised. He must be all done. He loves his basketball.
But yeah, no, he's on here all the time. So I don't feel like I can specifically say he's the listener of the night, but at the same time, he deserves props. I'll probably go with Garrett Clemens. Can't say I'm as familiar with him, but he had some good comments.
Yeah, he's the usual. Garrett's good. So I will give mine to. There was a couple really. I mean, the chat was awesome today, like always. The chat is always awesome. If you guys listen to this afterwards, try to stay up late. Try to get in the chat. It's really fun. I have fun. Honestly, they all feel like friends to me, especially the guys who've been around for, Antoine Willis, Juan Cruz, Iman Rapport, B. Cooley. These guys are our and then there's other ones. I'm just scrolling through that. I might have forgot. And then we're missing some of our Garrett Clemens, Pope. The Pope is in here. Stacks 6'1", 6'5". That's another one of our usuals. I'm going to give it to the guy who called me out. I'm going to give it to Mr. C, the informality. Says I'm an idiot. I don't know what nationality means. He's probably right. So, but he also had good comments. He went pillar to post with good comments. I'll give it to him. So
before we jump off, I do want to say one more thing with regards to the chat. The chat has kind of thrown it out there a little bit that there was a shooting at the White House. Yeah, and
I followed it all.
But I also main thing I just want to get at. I love this community in this chat. Like, yes, they were commenting on it, but everybody was very respectful. We have the best following at Sherdog, and we love you guys, because we know that there's diverse political opinions, and the fact that everybody can get on there and mention that type of stuff without being douchey or anything like that.
Yeah,
much respect to you guys. Much respect to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't see a single one. So if you guys don't know what you're talking about, there was Trump was at the I don't know what it was. some kind of something.
A press dinner. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, some kind of big wig thing, and there was a shooting. I don't know the details. I don't know if they shot at Trump or they shot somebody else. We don't know, but I saw reports that someone might be dead. That I don't know. Correspondence dinner. Oh, according to Pope, Secret Service agent was shot, which is terrible. Anybody getting shot is terrible, but yeah, we've talked about the Charlie Kirk murder. We've talked about Trump getting shot. Me and Ben are two absolute. I don't know where you are. We never talk politics. Me and you. I have no idea where you stand, but you don't have to tell. You don't have to tell. But me and Ben are the complete opposites. I'm not scared to say it. I am a pretty conservative person. He's a pretty liberal person. End of the day, that's my brother. That's my boy. We've done 100%. I don't know how many 500 shows. At the end of the day, we agree with more things than we disagree on. This thing, being nice to people, we both agree on. We should be nice to people. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, and honestly, if someone wants to, again, I don't know if it was that Trump, who knows? I don't want. If you want to kill Trump, if you're a left winger, I'm not blaming left wingers. I'm not that guy. If you want to kill Trump, you do realize JD Vance is the vice president. He becomes president. Like, you don't get your guy in office. And even if you did get your guy in office, it was way back in the 1700s. You shouldn't kill somebody or want to kill somebody. That's terrible.
No, but like I said,
if Joe Biden was a president, I'd say the same exact thing if a right winger was going after Joe Biden or when Obama was president or anything like that. It's just terrible. So, anyways,
but no, like I said, just with the community, the comments were all very respectful. You guys you guys are fucking awesome. We love coming here. We love doing this with you guys. And just the fact that we can keep everything respectful. We don't need to feel the need to block anybody or anything like that. I can't compliment you guys enough for that. Many thank yous for making this fun for us, because if, in a heated moment like this, we could easily see somebody having a very strong opinion and wanting to be douchey or whatever. But You guys make this fun for us. So many thank yous.
Yeah. So we will be back. We'll be previewing UFC. I don't know where it is. It's one of those Australian ones. It has Jack Della Maddalena headlining versus Carlos Pratis. I don't know when it will come out. Just fair warning. I know Ben is traveling. He is planning on doing the preview. I'm not really sure. As far as the recap show, it's in Perth. Okay. As far as a recap show, I don't know how that's going to go. It starts at 4 a.m. The main card starts at 7 a.m. I do have girls softball that day. I don't really know exactly what we and Ben haven't really got into too much of the details. What's going to happen? We'll figure something out. But, anyways, make sure you check back with us. If you're not wanting to share, feel free to reach out to both me and Ben. We'll try to give you guys an update when we have an idea. Dayne, you're the man. Thank you so much for coming on. Always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks for everyone in the chat. If you're listening a day or two later or something like that, thank you guys for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Thumbs up, do all that stuff we never asked you to do. And we'll see you guys next week.